Hello, welcome to my channel. Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share. So there has recently been a video circulating online of two trans men or male whom decided to go into a woman's restroom, public restroom. And of course, people had things to say about it, right? But I think this is actually a great topic to be had. It's 2026. It's the beginning of a new year. So Happy New Year to everyone. But I think this is actually a great topic of discussion to start the new year with. Is it appropriate for trans men or the trans community to use the male or female restroom? Now, I'm going to play this video and play this clip in case you haven't seen it. It has been circulated online, so I'm sure many have seen it. But if you haven't, I'm going to show the clip and then I am going to come back with my commentary.
These are boys. This is a man in the women's toilet. He's a drag queen. You're man.
Did anyone say anything to you guys what you guys were uncomfortable about?
Yes, your presence. Your presence as a man. It's against the law.
And you're all reporting it, right?
Yes, because you are two men. You're a man in the women's league. Why not in the women's league? Fred? They picked the wrong couple. Why is a man in the women's league? Yeah, you're a man. You're a man, like why are you in the women's league? Why do you feel the need to be in here with women? Under the Supreme Court. Do you have respect for women's boundaries?
What you're saying is we can't come into a toilet, period.
No, you can go into the toilet with your sex.
Relax. Are you understanding? You're two transgender females.
So you're men.
Transgender.
Oh my God.
I'm willing to toilet. I'm willing to toilet. Can I get my stuff?
It's illegal.
Wait, hold on.
Give it to me. Don't touch my stuff either.
Very.
Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Why are we being aggressive? Why are we being aggressive? Because you're not even this already.
Guys, relax, it's okay.
I said nothing to any of you.
It's okay, just relax, guys, relax.
Don't touch nothing. I'll smack the shit out of you.
You're men.
Bye, boys.
You're men. You're men. Oh, like that.
Guys, stop. It's not needed. Relax. It's not needed.
So there you have it. As I said, this is actually a great conversation to be had right now. Okay, there was obviously a level of discomfort from these women. They felt that because they were trans, they actually are male, and many people feel that way with the trans community, right? So you may put on a dress, you may wear a wig, you may dress as a woman, but you're still born genetically, you are still a male. And, if you are, as a trans coming into a woman's space, there are plenty of women that's going to be uncomfortable with that. Okay. Women go through a lot as there is. There are many women in certain instances that are being essayed in public places, including or could possibly be in women's washroom if we allow things like this to occur, right? Predators don't have any boundaries. Some predators will actually, being that, if we accept trans into the women's washroom, predators could use that as an excuse to gain access to a woman's washroom for a woman to be essayed, So there are many things that are at odds here, okay? And we really have to be aware of this because, as I said, it might not be looked at as normal, right? Through a broad view, right? If we allow things like this, who knows what else can happen in this instance. Now for me personally, I feel like if I seen two noticeably trans men come into a washroom that I'm using, to be honest, I'm going to feel uncomfortable. Men are physically stronger than women, most likely. Okay, men are usually bigger and stronger than women physically. So it comes to a point where you're just like, all right, if I have to defend myself in an instant like this, how can I defend myself against two men? I'm pretty petite as a woman, right? So I'm going to automatically feel uncomfortable, if I'm being honest. With me, I don't like confrontation, so I usually just mind my business. I don't care what people want to do with their lives. But, if the trans community is going to continue to deal with things like this, right? Even if they go into the men's washroom, I would believe that the men would also feel uncomfortable seeing two men dressed as women in a male washroom, right? I'm not sure if there would be measures taken like women do, because as I said, men are physically stronger. So in a case where they had to defend themselves, they wouldn't be as fearful as women would, right? Especially if a woman has her young child in the washroom, just in the washroom stall alone. We might be afraid that someone might just walk into the stall, We're already fearful as it is in a public space, in a public washroom, right? So being that trans men are allowed to come into or feel like they're allowed to come into the women's washroom, it might cause even more fear, okay? Now, the question here is, should the trans community have their own public washrooms that they can go into? Okay, even at the gym, there was an incident at the gym where they caught a man pleasuring himself, excuse my language, in a woman's washroom, a transgender, and he got caught on film, and people were furious, and they're just like, this is the reason why we don't want these men, whether they're trans men, that we don't want them in our space because of things like this, right? Which I believe that argument is valid, in my opinion, right? So should they have their own public restroom that they can go into? I know there's a lot of unisex washrooms, okay? So there's unisex washrooms about where women and men can both use, okay? So maybe that would be more suitable for them. Or, them just having their own washroom for trans. Okay. So what do you guys think? What do you think? Do you think that these women did the right thing? Me personally, I believe they did. Maybe it could have been handled a little differently. But as I said, there was a lot of women there to defend themselves in this case, and feel like they are standing up for what's right and standing up for their beliefs. And for their integrity, right, and the law, okay. Now, what would you have done in that instant, in that sense? And then also, do you believe that trans women or men, and men should have their own public restroom? Okay, because I believe this is going to continue to happen. I believe that, women are going to be uncomfortable with trans men using their washroom, public washroom, and it's the same as men. Okay, I believe that there is going to be a huge issue when it comes to this. Okay, so maybe they should have their own public space or their own public restroom so that it could just save this type of confrontation in the future. Okay, what do you guys think? Leave a comment below. Let's have this discussion. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.